Okay, hello guys, we are back with this discussion. Let's go to the next IBPS PO Prelims mock test that we had. We will be discussing the questions now, okay? Alright, hi. Okay, let's start with the first question. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to correct if required, okay? So if there's correction required, you're supposed to correct it, okay? Global pressure on the technology group is mounting over revelations about the data leak to a secretive political consultancy which have promoted a slide in Facebook share. Okay, now we are talking about global pressure on technology group is mounting. Okay, so what is the meaning of the word revelations, by the way? Something that has come to light that was not something that is surprisingly that was not discussed or that was not disclosed earlier. Okay, it is a surprising and previously unknown fact. I think we have discussed this word before. Okay guys, before we discuss the question, there's something that I want to talk to you about. I always make sure that I tell you the meaning of the words. Now, while I have been discussing these words, now the words that I see are no longer, I do not think it is something that is completely new to you or not familiar to you. You are familiar with the words, you're becoming familiar, because most of the words that I discuss these days are repetitive words. Something that we have already discussed once or twice before, okay? So this is the vocabulary limit. If you can see, okay, words are recurring, okay, and if you remember these words, then you will not have a problem, okay? Okay, let's get back to the question. Global pressure on the technology group is mounting over revelation about the data leak to a secretive political consultancy. After this is not a problem. Let's see, okay, when we are talking about mounting, we always use the preposition over, so it is correct till here, yes. Now, about the data leak to a secretive political consultancy. When we are talking about secretive political consultancy, we are talking about just the one, okay? We are talking about a particular secretive political consultancy, okay? So it should not be a secretive political consultancy, it should be the secretive political consultancy, okay? So the right answer will be, instead of you will use the. So the right answer should be option B, that is mounting over revelations about the data leak to the secretive political consultancy. I hope you guys got it. Okay, we are still discussing revelation, is it? No, Jai Murli, it is not the synonym of revolution. Revolution is something that was, okay, revelation is a, okay. For example, if I make a sentence, I recently had a revelation that you should not, okay, I recently had a revelation that belly fat is not just fat, it is more of water content deposited or collected over there. So it is more of gassy substances and water deposits over there, okay? So it is not just fat. So revelation is something that you did not know. It can be a secret that you did not know, or something, a fact that has come to light which was not earlier known to you, okay? That is not same as revolution. Okay, reveal, revelation, yes. Yes, disclose. Alright, let's move on to the next question, guys. Next question. Okay, so I hope all of you are clear with your articles a and the. When do we use a, when do we use and, when do we use the? So here, since we are talking about mounting over evaluation, about the data leak 2, okay, if you look at the question, why are we using the over here? Because we are talking about this secretive political consultancy which have promoted a slide in Facebook share. Okay, so we are talking about a particular or specific secretive political consultancy. That's why we will use the. The option is B. Let's move on to the next question. The investigation accelerated in January when Alexandre Johri, an intermediary close to the former French president and Gaddafi's Libyan government, was arrested in London on allegations of corruption. So this is the only part that we have to look at, okay? The rest of it does not matter. Was arrested in London. So is it right? Was arrested in London. Yes, like we discussed, in is absolutely fine here. On allegation, what is the meaning of the word allegation? Allegation is usually a claim or as an assertion that someone has done something wrong. Or illegal. Okay, so that is an allegation. Usually an allegation is not proven. Okay, something that is completely based on a claim. Okay, it is not a proven fact. That's why, and we place an allegation on someone, so it is completely fine. This statement looks absolutely fine. Was arrested in London on allegation of corruption. Okay, so it is completely fine. No corrections required in this one. All right, let's move on to the next one. A lobby group called Engine was included, which includes Twitter, Yelp, and Pinterest, has suggested the bill creates a risk that website trying to monitor for bad content could end up becoming liable for which they find. Okay, for which they find, the statement looks incomplete. Okay, because when we are using for which they find, so there is an error definitely. So let's see, could end up becoming. Okay, so could end up becoming liable. You understand the meaning of liable, right? Responsible. Responsible by law. Okay. Alright, so could end up becoming liable to what they find? No. No or yes? Could end up becoming liable against what they find? No. Against is opposite. Could end up becoming liable with what they find? No. Could end up becoming liable for what they find. Okay. You become liable for something. Okay, so the right usage will be option 4, that is could end up becoming liable for what they find. Okay, so the right answer is option 4 because that one is grammatically correct. Liable for we use, and not for what. Okay, and not which. Let's move on to the next question. Moody's downgrade Turkish debt cited concerns about the political climate and a heavy reliance on foreign financing. Okay, so Moody's downgraded Turkish debt. Okay, so what is it a cite of? It is cited concerns about the, okay, why did he downgrade Turkish debt? It was seen as concerns about the political climate and a heavy reliance on foreign policy, or okay. Okay, why did he downgrade the Turkish debt? Because so the statement is saying that because of the political climate and the heavy reliance on foreign financing, that's why he cited concerns. Okay, so citing concerns, not cited concerns. Okay, citing concerns about the, so the right answer will be option D, citing concerns. Okay, not anything else. All right, moving on to the next type of questions. Yes, D is the right answer. Now this was about sentence improvement and corrections if required. Let's move on to the next section, that is Murli's favorite, error spotting. Isn't it, Murli? Tada. Oh no, sorry. Oh no. One more. Okay, we have one more. Before we come to Murli's favorite part, one more question. Okay. The bloc which is set to start talks on future relation at a summit on Friday after reaching deals on transition and divorce arrangements had previously resisted the inclusion of such a reference to financial services. So where is the, we already know what, this one is pretty simple. I don't think there's much discussion needed on this one. So the answer will be previously resisted the inclusion of such a, or resist. Wrong. Previously resisted the inclusion such a, there's an off missing over here. Previously resisted the inclusion of such a. So the right answer is option C. Yes, because option C is grammatically correct. All right. Now we go to the questions on error spotting. Let's begin. A comparison between what happened in the 1930s and the post-crash period shows we have indeed learned some important thing. Okay. Now, it's very simple, as you guys can, and it is very evident in this one. We have learned some, when we say some important, okay, so we are not just talking about one important thing, we are talking about some of the important things. So the answer will be, the error is in option D, some important things that we have learned from the wars. So the fourth one has the error. Yes, option. Moving on to the next one. This one was pretty simple. Let's do the next one. Whether they are migrants or native born, it is neither feasible or fair to expect lower paid workers to live in a vast donut around thriving cities commuting ever longer distances. Okay, so we are talking here about, no matter who it is very it is not a good scene to leave people out of the thriving cities and make them commute from one corner of the world to another. Okay, so we are talking about the transportation, commuting. Okay, so now if you look at the option, we usually use whether or. Okay, that is correct usage. Okay, native born, it is neither. With neither, what do we use? Nor. With either, we use or. So here is the error. Error is in option 2, that is B is the error. Alright. Moving on to the next one. Facebook shares dropped 7% on Monday and another few percentage points yesterday after revelations. Again, we have the same word, revelation, that millions of users' data inappropriately ended up from Cambridge Analytical, a research group. Okay, so what are we talking about? Facebook shares dropped. Why did it drop? Because a lot of people suddenly had this revelation, or they got to know that millions of users, these millions of users, what happened to their data? It suddenly ended up in Cambridge Analytical. Okay, so it did not end up from, it ended up, where is the error? It ended up in Cambridge Analytical, a research group. So the error is in option 4, that is D. Okay. It will not be ended up with, it will be ended up at, because we are talking about research center. It will be at, ended up at. Ended up with is something. Okay, you can use ended up in the research center or at the research center, but from the previous revelation that we had, that when we talk about a specific place, we use at, so we will be using at over here. Okay, Jaya Murli. Alright, moving on to the next one. Public will fail to meet his operating margin. Okay, there's an error in this statement. Okay. Okay. Okay, critic China's state-owned finance to infrastructure conglomerate is in talks to take a stake in CEFC after the detention of Xi Jinping. Okay, the energy group's chairman. Okay, this is Xi Jinping, not the president. The energy group's chairman, according by people. Okay, it is very evident. I don't even have to say according to. We do not say according by. According to people familiar with the discussion. Okay, so this one, the error will be option 4. Alright, the error is in option 4. Now we will be moving on to our next section, that is, you'll have to read the passage and then we will be answering questions on basis of the passage, okay? So quickly, I will just be showing you the passage. Quickly go through the passage. Can you guys see? Or should I? Please zoom in and try reading the passage. Alright. I don't know how many of you gave it a good read. Someone is asking. Okay guys, what is the meaning of conglomerate? From the word itself, it is very evident that is a group of, a thing that consists of different types of other things, or has different variety of things. Like the earth is a conglomerate of different organisms, okay? So a combination of all combined into, or it has many parts, something that has many parts or many variants or many structures or many different type of things, okay? So that is a conglomerate. Alright, so let's begin with discussing the questions on the given passage, okay? First, this is the first part of the passage, the second part of the passage. Yes, it is a combination, it is a group united as one, something that is. If you guys are done with this part, let's move on to the next segment. Guys, are you even reading the passage? Please concentrate and read the passage. It's a well-framed passage. Done? Alright. So, just gonna give it a quick read. In a world where mankind feels threatened by social upheaval, what is the meaning of the word upheaval? Upheaval is a violent or a sudden change or disruption, okay? Overpopulation, wars, terrifying violence, callousness. What is the meaning of callousness? Callousness means, okay, it is insensitive and cruel disregard for others, okay? Someone who is callous is, a callous behavior is not like careless, okay? Careless is just someone who does not care. On the other hand, callous behavior is someone who has a very rude behavior, a very ruthless kind of person, and does not really care about people and is very indifferent and emotionless and all the bad things combined together. Yes, so that is the meaning of the word callousness. Each human being is more than ever concerned with his own survival. Survival has implied living sanely, happily, without great pressure or strain. Each one of us translates survival according to his own particular concept. The idealist projects a way of life which is not the actual. The theoreticians, whether Marxist, religious, or of any other particular persuasion, have laid down patterns for survival. The nationalists consider survival possible only in a particular group or community, or group of community. These ideological differences, ideals, and faith are the root of a division that is preventing human survival. Okay, so till here, what did you understand? I'll tell you what I understood. That we are talking about what is the meaning of survival and what is the basic essence of the word survival, and how survival, the meaning itself changes according to different faiths and beliefs. Okay, people who follow the Marxist form of rule, that or people who follow a set of religion, or the nationalists, they think that survival can only be possible in a group. So different ideological groups have different meaning of the word survival, okay? So this is what it says till now. Let's move on to the next part. Men want to survive in a particular way according to their narrow responses, according to their immediate pleasures, according to some faith, according to some religion, savior, prophet or saint. All these can in no way bring security, for in themselves they are diverse, exclusive, limited. To live in the hope of survival according to tradition, however ancient or modern, has no meaning. Partial solution of any kind, scientific, religious, political and economic, can no longer assure mankind its survival. Man has been concerned with his own individual survival, with his family, with his group, with his tribal nation, and because of all this is divisive, it threatens his actual survival. The modern divisions of nationalities, of color, of culture, of religion are the cause of man's uncertainty of survival. In the turmoil, okay? What is the meaning of turmoil? A state of great disturbance, okay? Of today's world, uncertainty has made man turn to authority, to political, religious or economic experts, okay? Economic experts. Okay. Moving on. Okay, so till here, what did you understand? Turmoil is not generally chaos. Turmoil is great stress, okay? Alright, so till here it says that we have, because we want to survive, we have divided ourselves into different sections, into different communities based on religion, based on region, based on all sorts of things, okay? And this very division is the basic root cause of not how we should survive or something like that, okay? So it talks about how we have been divided and not united, okay? So it says that the writer is trying to imply that survival can only happen when you accumulate or when you happen to be in a group, in a society, and not divided by class, region, religion, etc. Alright, the specialist is inevitably a danger because his response must always be partial, limited. Man is no longer individual, separate. What affects the few affects all mankind. There is no escape of avoidance of the problem. You can no longer withdraw from the totality of human predicament. Okay. What is the meaning of predicament? A difficult, unpleasant or embarrassing situation. So it can be any of this. Suits very well for the statement. We have stated the problem, the cause, and now we must find the solution. This solution must not depend on any kind of pressure, sociological, religious, economic, political, or of any organization. We cannot possibly survive if we are concerned only with our own survival. All human beings the world over are interrelated today. What happens in one country affects the other. Man has considered himself an individual separate from others, but psychologically a human being is inseparable from the whole of mankind. There is no such thing as psychological survival. When there is this desire to survive or to fulfill, you are psychologically creating a situation which not only separates but which is totally unreal. Psychologically, it cannot be separate from another. And this desire to separate psychologically is the very source of danger and destruction. Each person asserting himself threatens his own existence. When the truth of this is seen and understood, man's responsibility undergoes a radical change, not only towards his immediate environment but towards all living things. This total responsibility is compassion. This compassion acts through intelligence. This intelligence is not partial, individual, and separate. Compassion is the sacredness of all living things. Alright, so what does the passage? It's a beautifully crafted and well written passage. So it talks about how human beings have, just for survival, they have turned to religion, they have turned to politics, or even economic help they have taken to survive in a group, and they have thought that this is how what is the meaning of togetherness, which is the actual opposite of what it should be. We should not sort out things by dividing things, or we should sort out things by uniting them and by compassion. Okay, so it says that we think that we are an individual and we are separate, but human beings, even a single human being, is always related to the others. Okay, so this is the meaning of the passage. Let's move on quickly to the questions on. No. Okay, Priya, tranquil is nearly opposite of turmoil. No. Okay, tranquil means a peaceful. Yes, nearly opposite. Yes, Priya, you're right. Tranquil is a very peaceful and calm and a serene environment. On the other hand, turmoil is always related to too much of exertion and distress and things like that. Okay, so yes, you're right. Alright, so moving on to the question, let's see the questions. So the first one that we have is, when according to the writer does man experience compassion? Okay, so when this is from the final few passage, final paragraph that we have. Does he feel compassion, experiences compassion when he experiences a vision of sorts, a message from God? No, there is no talk about God over here. He feels responsible towards his immediate environment. Yes, we are talking about him feeling responsible for his immediate environment when he does not consider himself to be an individual. He becomes enlightened. No, we are not talking about becoming enlightened Buddha or any wisdom of sort. So this is also not the answer. He feels responsible towards all living things. Yes, not just himself, but towards his immediate environment as well as towards all living things. So the answer is 2 and 4. So third is the right answer. Even if you do not read the passage, this comes as basic common sense, I think, that we are talking about a passage. We are not talking about, if you just skim through the passage, you can understand that the passage is not about how you can get enlightened or how you find revelation in believing in God. Okay, so 2 and 4 is the right answer. Let's move on to the next one. What, according to the writer, is the essence of the problem faced by human beings today? What is the essence of the problem? So human beings are unable to separate themselves from number of their species and hence fail to discover true self. Are we talking about human beings not being able to discover their true self? No, we are not talking about that. Their sense of self is fragmented since they separate themselves psychologically from the other. Yes, this is absolutely true. Their sense of compassion is micro and they cannot see the big picture. Okay. Okay. Actually not. Okay, their sense of self, there is nothing in the past. Okay, their sense of self is fragmented since they see themselves psychologically separate psychologically. Okay, let's understand the question first. A sense of the problem. The sense of the problem is compassion. The sense of compassion is micro and they cannot see the big picture. No, first one is definitely not the answer. So it will be option 3 and not option 1 and not option 2. it's talking about the essence of the problem, and the writer, when the writer is concluding, he clearly mentions that the essence of the problem is lack of compassion and not being able to see beyond the four walls or beyond family and see the bigger picture, having compassion for everyone. Okay, micro is small. Yes, Rajesh, right. All right, let's move on to the next one. Which of the following statement is or are true? Okay, any person who does not assert himself threatens his own existence. No, we are not talking about someone who does not assert himself. Is okay, what is the meaning of the word assert? Someone who is very forceful. Okay, so someone who is confident at the same time very forceful. So forces himself on others. Okay, so threatens his own any person who does not assert himself threatens his own existence. So this is a negative statement, that it says that if someone is not asserting himself, as in someone is not pushing or not throwing attitude or not becoming too confident and bossy, is a threat to his own existence. That is not true. Okay, so option 1 is not the answer. Men today respond to situations within a narrow band according to some faith, belief, or convenience. Okay, so yes, we are talking about men not being able to see past this. Okay, see the bigger picture. So yes, 2 is the answer. Both ancient and modern tradition, we do not even have to read others, because all of the above is the only option, and it is definitely not all of the above. So 2 is the answer. The survival of mankind can be assured in which of the following ways? How can we assure the survival of mankind? Okay. So, if sound authority is found, political, region, religious, or economics, or no, we are not saying, again, this is again talking about division. So we are not talking about that. If each man realizes that he is not an island by himself, that means he is not secluded, he is part of a bigger picture where a lot of people are there and not just an island to himself in this world. Okay, so 2 is the answer. Okay, what could the writer be? Could he be a psychologist? Could he be a sociologist? Could he be a philanthropist? What is the meaning of philanthropist, by the way? Someone who does a lot of charity or charitable. Okay, phil. The prefix phil means love or like. Anthropology, anthrop. Anthrop is human, and ist is usually used for a type of person. So someone who loves human beings is a philanthropist. Okay, someone who is he a philosopher? Okay, so which one do you think? Is it a psychologist? Do not fool yourself because thinking that he's a psychologist, because he mentions psychology in one paragraph very discreetly. Okay, too much of psychology. But again, you also have to see the bigger picture, because it is not just talking about psychology of human beings. It is talking about things like compassion, being kind, seeing the bigger picture about how divided our society is. So it is a philosophical thought, not just related to psychology. So the right answer will be a philosopher. Okay, all this talks comes in philosophy. Okay, next one. Which of the following can replace the word savior as used in the context? Okay, what is the meaning of the word savior? Savior means someone who saves someone. Okay, so savior, we found our savior. People say usually were things like a social philosopher. No, guys, okay. He's not just talking about society. He's talking about things like compassion. He's talking about things like, yes, okay, moving on, but before that, so he's not just talking about how society is built and what social structure should we follow. He also covers religion, he also covers government, he also covers economics, he covers everything. So basically how philosophical he gets, you can see it in the very beginning and the end of the passage. Okay, yes, so the answer for this will be someone who saves. So it will be which one? Rescuer. Okay, rescue mission, we usually say someone who has gone for to rescue someone, or someone who saves. So they say Jesus Christ our savior. In Christianity, Jesus Christ our savior, they usually add the tagline to it. Okay, next one. Which of the following can replace the word inevitably as used in the context of the passage? Okay, so what is the meaning of inevitable? Okay, when we say the word inevitable, even if we do not look at the passage, if you understand the meaning of something that is inevitable, that is that cannot be avoided, okay, something that has to happen. And what do we see an example of something that is inevitable? That is nature. Okay, we cannot change the course of nature, nor can we alter it. Okay, so it is naturally. Okay, the answer will be option 2, naturally. Which of the following is the most opposite to the word persuasion as used in the context? Okay, is it, okay, what is the meaning of the word persuasion? It is induce someone to do something through reasoning. Or argument. Okay, so that is persuasion. People usually say you should have good persuasion skills, as in convincing skills, and usually persuasion needs to be backed up with a lot of reasoning. All right, so what is the opposite of, you have to find out which one is the opposite of persuasion. Helpful, revelation, naive. Discouragement is the most opposite of persuasion. All right, next one. Okay, this one is easy. Which of the following is the most opposite to the word limited as used in the context of the passage? Okay, so most opposite, plenty. Something that is limited is something that is something that is not available in abundance, and plenty is when something is available in abundance. Jayamoli, I think Hitler's speech was both, it showed remarkable persuasion, because so many people were ready to die for him, and the entire Germany was ready to follow him because it was so convincing. Okay, so it was mesmerizing, because the things that he said agitated people and boost up their confidence, and it was also at the same time very persuasive. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Which one of the following would the writer be least likely to agree with? Okay, so now you have to predict which one will he be least likely to agree with. The options are: each living thing is a separate entity. Okay, I cancel this out here itself because we are not talking about being separate entities. Okay, the dilemma that is facing human beings today is mere phase and will pass soon. Okay, let's keep this because we are talking about human beings facing the dilemma and going to different and dividing themselves into different sects. Today, man feels threatened by problems like social upheaval, violence, which have been created by man himself. Okay, not really. Man does not feel threatened by the problems. Survival today is a subjective concept. No, he talks about survival as being objective as well as subjective. Okay, so I think option 2 is the most suitable. The dilemma that is facing human beings today is a mere phase and it will soon pass, and they will soon change their beliefs. They'll look for something else to believe in the when it comes to survival. All right. Okay. Next one. Okay, so the next type that we will be discussing, I think we will just be seeing 2 questions or 3 questions of this type. Small tree growers express dash that a reduction in import tariff on tea will adversely affect the small tea growers community who dash 45% of India's tea output. Okay, so you've got 2 options, you have to fill in the right combination. All right. So what is the first, I think the first words that are there in all these: penury. What is the meaning of penury? Penury, sorry. Means some extreme poverty. Someone who is extremely poor. Loath. You know the meaning of loath? It means hate. Very common word. Apprehension. What is the meaning of apprehension? It is the fear that something bad or unpleasant will happen. So I apprehended the situation and thought that it is safe to stay at home rather than going outside. Okay, so that means I had a negative feeling, or I had a fear that something bad is going to happen. Okay, that is apprehension. Okay. Contend means treat or regard with contempt. Okay. And finally, extenuate. Extenuate means acting in mitigation to lessen the seriousness of guilt. or an offense. Alright, so looking at all the words, now if you do not understand the meaning of these words, okay, so what do? You go backwards, okay, so you try to see, because the second half of the sentence has words that are pretty easy: face, lose, contribute, give, choir. All these words are very easy words, okay. So let's just look at the small tea growers express dash that a reduction in import tariff on tea will adversely affect the small tea growers community who what 45% of the India's tea output, who they definitely do not face tea. We are talking about small tea growers. They contribute to a certain amount, right? They do not lose, they do not give, they contribute, okay. So that is the right answer. The right answer will be option 3. That is to contribute. Okay. Now, moving on to the next question. Okay, someone has a doubt. Loath is love, okay. Okay. So penury is opulent. Yes, Sony. Opulence is someone who has a lot of wealth and luxury. Okay, coir. What is the meaning of coir? It's that fabric coir mattress that you use. Okay, so yes, opulent is rich. Coir mattress. Coir is that fiber that you get out of trees and things like that. That is coir. Okay, moving on to the next question, guys. The dash of taxes on over 200 items under the goods and services tax regime has not led to a commensurate dash in their prices. Okay, what is the meaning of commensurate? It is equal to or corresponding to. Corresponding in, it can be in size, manner, anything. Or in proportion. So correspond, equivalent, all these are synonyms of the word. Okay, commensurate, dash in their price. So what are we talking about? We are talking about the dash of taxes on over 200 items under the goods and services tax regime has not led to a commensurate. Okay, so it has not corresponded to or it is not equivalent to dash in their prices. Okay, so even after, so it basically means that even after slashing, okay, even after cutting down, it's not copying. Okay, even after, it's not imposing you. The imposing of taxes on over 200 items under the goods and services tax regime. No, we are talking about decrease in prices so that it is not equal to. So we have to find out word which are synonymous to each other. Okay, so that's why we are looking at words which are synonymous to each other, because both means equal. Okay, so this does not mean that. That's what is the meaning of the line. Okay, so slashing and decrease are synonymous. Revolution and no. Dropping and change, no. So the answer is 3 here. It will be slashing and decrease. So this decrease, even after slashing of taxes on over 200 items, it has not led to a commensurate of decrease in their price. Very nice, Jayamulli. Yes, that's how. I think you've been doing a marvelous job in root word section. So that is very nice. The way you have said it, it is exactly the same. Mensurate is measurement, equivalent, yes. Alright, so this brings us to the end of today's session. We are done with 2 sessions today. If you have any doubts still here, or if you have any questions that you want me to discuss, please put it on the dashboard. And I do not see you guys posting any questions on the dashboard for me. So please make sure that we have enough and ample amount of questions to discuss on the Saturday session that we have, doubt clarification session, so that we can come and discuss all those questions that you have doubts in. Okay. Yes, you're welcome, Jayamulli. So thank you guys. I hope you have a safe evening and a very good weekend. Alright, goodbye to all of you. Okay, in case you have any doubts, please, any doubts, guys? If you have anything that you want to ask or discuss, please. Okay, break a leg is a very positive. It obviously, from the very meaning of the, if you take the literal meaning, it shows that it is a very negative term. But when someone is going to give a performance on stage, you say go break a leg. That means it is a very positive word. That means go and perform well or do well. Okay, so it is a positive word. Yes, Priya, you are right. All right, so until next time, guys, see you all. Bye bye.